My son accidentally spilled ketchup on himself. He quickly asked me to delete the recording. I saw how anxious he looked and agreed. But just as I was about to hit delete, my finger accidentally pressed the rewind button. In an instant, everything around me started moving backward. Time went back to the moment he first picked up the ketchup. I froze, my heart racing, and told him to stop what he was doing. I tried to explain what had just happened, but he just looked at me, confused. I took a breath and told myself it was probably just my imagination. But our conversation caught the attention of a nearby police officer, and unease crept in. We left the restaurant. He could tell I was nervous, so he turned on the music in the car and pressed the gas. But the uneasy feeling inside me grew, so I told him to slow down. Instead, he grabbed the camcorder, trying to capture my nervous face. That's when the sharp sound of police sirens came from behind. He quickly pulled over. I told him to stay calm, be polite, and cooperate, or it could be dangerous. When the window rolled down, I saw the officer from the restaurant. I smiled and explained we were heading to his college, but the officer's eyes were full of hostility. He asked if there were any weapons in the car. I smiled and said no. He then asked my son if he knew why we were stopped. My son said it was for speeding. The officer's eyes went to the camcorder, asking if we were filming him, then reached for it. In the chaos, I pressed the rewind button again. When I came to, we were back to the moment he had picked up the camera. Seeing my distressed face, my son set the camera down. I quickly asked him where the officer went, but he looked puzzled. He had no memory of that time. The unease in my chest grew heavier. I told him to stop the car and got out with the camcorder to check. But before I could figure it out, the police car came up again. He tried to ask the officer for help, thinking I needed medical attention. But when I saw the same man step out of the car, my stomach dropped. He ignored the request and ordered my son to get off the highway. My son argued back, and the officer pulled out his weapon. I instinctively hit rewind again. This time, I was back at the restaurant. I saw the officer eating, his eyes cold and fixed on us. I urged my son to leave, deciding to get out before he finished his meal. I told him to sit in the passenger seat and drove steadily, even making a sudden turn to take another road. I hoped a different route could change the ending, but he looked at me with no understanding. After driving far, my nerves finally snapped, and I found a motel. The TV was showing a lottery draw. I suddenly thought to record it with the camcorder and rewind. I smiled and made a bet with him that if I guessed the winning numbers, he'd have to follow my lead. I knew it was just me avoiding reality.
16.
But when I got it right, he was stunned. The moment lightened until a knock came at the door. My son opened it. Standing there was the same officer.